Good day, good people, and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I am your host, Michelle Dawes-Bird, and as always, I'm super excited to be here. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood here in Atlanta, Georgia. Another Sunday. Last Sunday was Easter Sunday. I was off. Coincidentally this year, Easter Sunday did not fall on the day that I had to give a show, so I didn't have to give you any kind of replay or anything like that. I just enjoyed the day. It was nice to just enjoy the day. But I am back. I am back. I never leave you too long. And you know what? Today is a special day. Yeah. Today is a little special because April 16th, 2016 was my first show. Yay! So we have been doing this, 7 years, getting ready to go into our 8th year. Like, it doesn't seem like we've been doing it that long, but we have. And we have the shows and the data to prove it. We've talked to some phenomenal and some amazing people over the course of time. And every time I think, well, maybe it's time that I say, nope. The universe and the Most High says, no, keep going. You got more to discuss. So we are here. Today is no different. I want to first welcome and thank all of the new listeners that are checking us out. Real Chicks Rock is all about creatively collaborating and raising awareness about issues that impact us as women. And we do it through community service. We've done it through public speaking and our mentoring programs and workshops. We're going to start bringing those workshops back again now that we are outside. We are outside. Pandemic is kind of behind us. So we're going to start bringing those things back up. And the arts, which is the media, which is this platform. And like I said, we've been doing this for several years. And we're so grateful for you for checking us out every time. And so we're going to keep things going. Today, I'm excited because this was a topic or an area or a profession that I didn't really know much about. Heard the word, but I didn't really know what was involved. And I have the opportunity of working remote for my primary job, which has been phenomenal thanks to COVID. Thank you for the pandemic for allowing me to have the opportunity. So from time to time, I'll sit at different coffee shops or different spaces, and I get to meet beautiful people. And so this is no different because I was in the coffee shop. I met this beautiful person and we got to talking and my mouth hit the table and I said, you would be great to be on my show. So today's topic is life as a doula. It just sounds sexy when I say it, right? As a doula.
Sometimes yes,
sometimes no, right? So my guest today is Naima Bond. Hi, Naima.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well today. Thank you so much.
Man, you are fantastic. You
Thank
have a great energy. So I'm glad you were able to come into the studio today so we could talk and we could just chop it up. So first and foremost, where are you from?
I was born in New York City.
Yeah, all right now.
Queens.
Yes.
But raised in California.
Okay.
But I've been in Atlanta. Well, let's start. 95 to 99, went back home, came back. I've been here since summer 06.
When you say you went back home, which was that California home, right? Okay, because you left New York, Queens, and going to California.
I know.
So which home are you claiming?
I claimed a few places.
Okay.
But that was California.
Okay,
and
fantastic.
Then came back and stayed summer 06.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome. So talk to me about a little bit about your background. How did you get into becoming a doula? But tell me a little bit about yourself.
How much time you got? So my first career, what I'll say, is that I was a birth through 5 professional. with an emphasis on special education and early intervention.
Okay.
So I was a disabilities coordinator for a Head Start program here in Atlanta for about 7.5 years. And then I have been doing infant toddler research for red flags for autism and social communication delays.
Okay.
My latter part.
Your latter part.
But even still, sometimes I felt like, parents need so much support. It's like, how can I get to them sooner? Even in the early Head Start space, 3 months, 6 months seemed almost too late. Not that parents didn't know what they were doing, but I could see spaces and gaps where I would give information. They'd be like, really?
Right.
Oh, and so it was like, gosh, how do you get to people sooner?
Yeah.
And then somehow, I'll be real honest, I don't know how doula even came across my mind or how I got introduced to it, but there was a point where I was at a huge conference for autism research. I'm just gonna say not many Black folks giving presentations, but I was well received. People enjoyed me,
awesome.
and I went back to the hotel room and I was like, okay, I should be at the top of my this is. At least the college loans are actually paying for what the field I'm in. Like, I should feel very, and I didn't. And I asked, I said, and I literally had a moment and said, God, what am I supposed to do? And I promise you, God said, doula, very softly. And because I wasn't as obedient as I am now, I said, what? And he said, doula, loud, which made me go to the lobby of my hotel room. And I stayed down there for about 4 or 5 hours because he told me twice.
Wow.
And then about a month later, I found my first doula workshop. Now, I'll be honest, in the beginning, this was 2015, I took a workshop, I took some, to kind of so I'm being called, but what is this? What am I supposed to do with it? I don't know what. So I did, my first probably 2 years was really research and understanding maternal health, understanding the disparities with Black women specifically, before I really started attending births.
Okay.
And then I found a mentor. I did Inner Light Holistic mentor with Shakana Haley, and I went through her, which was amazing. I was her first cohort. And what I liked about that was, again, it's a shift in fields, but 20 years of doing this, first of all, we had to read books about Black women first. And then once we had a strong foundation of who we were, how do we show up in this space?
Right.
How do we support in this space? And what is really important?
So it was like a 2-part process for you.
It was.
So really 3, because first you had to be obedient. First of all, you had to receive the message, right, from the messenger, and just make sure I'm not bugging out.
Right.
Okay, that's really not what I want to do.
Correct.
I'm good doing what I'm doing now. So you had to process that.
Yes.
And then you had to take ownership of the space of just knowing that you are qualified, just knowing that you are good for who you are as a Black woman, right? Because energies transfer.
They do, and
right?
that's what we
so it's very important that you're solid
in that kind of space.
Yeah, man.
People don't have pants on. That's a very special space that you're in with folks doing this. So it's you have to be on a certain wavelength. You have to be on the.
Yeah.
No, I say that. The only reason why I say that is because I support home birth, birth center, which we'll probably talk about, and then hospital.
Okay.
So, it sounds amazing to have 3 generations of your family in the room, but a lot of our, maybe not our great-grands, but grandmothers or mothers may not have seen true natural childbirth happening.
Correct.
So that, when you see your daughter heaving on the floor, your natural inclination is to say, baby, we don't have to do this.
Yeah.
We can go to the hospital. We can do A, B, C, and D. You don't have to do this to yourself.
Right. My mom never saw, God bless her. So when I was pregnant with my son, and my son is only 15.
Okay.
I shouldn't say only. He's 15.
He's 15.
He's 15. So 15 years ago, my mom never saw a sonogram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they never saw. So when they had a baby, you was just out there.
Right.
Real talk.
Right.
Even though they was going to the hospital.
Right.
But they had no sense of a heartbeat, getting the graph to show the heartbeat.
Yes.
That's when my sister had my nephew. She could at least get those printouts.
Right.
With the heartbeat of hearing the heartbeat of the baby. So my nephew's and signs of blah blah blah. And then knowing the sex came later on, right? But no, even that, but to see a sonogram,
Yes.
right? To see a baby inside of a
Right.
belly, my mother was like, wow.
Yes.
So this is supportive of your point. They just knew, real talk, they was pregnant and probably didn't know until months into it.
Right.
Right? That they
Right.
were.
Exactly.
Because there wasn't no peeing on a stick. Hello.
No,
There
none
wa-
of that. No,
There wasn't none of that.
None of that.
None of that.
No, you're right.
So it was probably like they might have been in their second trimester.
But before they're
They
like,
realized
oh, wait
that,
a minute. Right,
I
right,
think
right.
I'm having a baby.
And that too, so along with being a doula, it has like that door, when I stepped lightly into that door, it opened my mind up
Wow.
to just our reproductive systems, how amazing our bodies are.
Yes.
How, along with that, I do some fertility things too, like how to
Wow.
chart your cycle so that you do know what are the optimal times
To conceive,
Yes.
right, and have a baby. 'Cause-
Like sometimes when you get that itch where you wasn't even thinking about him,
right.
but then all of a sudden you looking.
You looking good.
Right, it's
like call me.
right. It's that animal, but it's that like
Yeah.
your natural
Wow,
instincts.
you're growling, yeah.
Like, is it time for us to reproduce?
Yeah,
It's time to
is
like
it time?
that has something to do with it. Like,
Ooh.
but really learning those things and just functions of our bodies. Like the reason we really want natural childbirth. One of the reasons. There's many, but as the baby's traveling down the birth canal, that helps to squeeze out the amniotic fluid out of their system so that when they do their first breath, they
Right.
can kind of,
They can breathe.
They can breathe.
Yeah.
Like certain things like that, finding out that the actual vagina flora is good for their gut
Wow.
as they come down. Like there's certain
There's
things,
we
your
gonna-
bodies are specially
Ooh.
designed. And learning that stuff, like I said, it's opened up
This
a
is
door.
good stuff. This is good stuff.
It's opened up a door to there's reasons why we want these certain things
Right.
to happen. Now, of course, if there's a challenge or there's I don't want to even say a problem, but a different way to birth, then
Right.
we have the tools so that you can still birth safely.
Okay, that's good to know.
But if we want to go for it, like there's real reasons why we should try to go for it.
Right. And let's
there's
talk about it.
reasons.
Let's talk about this. Let's take a step back. What is a doula?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I can just go on.
No, that's fine.
So,
the passion.
It's very much so. So a doula is someone who supports you through birth with education, emotional support. And some people like emotional support, but no, there are times where I know my clients don't realize how close they are. They're ready. It is a true, having a child is a true rites of passage. There's many in life, but it's a true rites of passage. So
Say
sometimes
that.
you really do need someone to just like, am I here yet?
Yeah.
Do you see the end? Because I don't see the end.
Yeah.
I've had a client who actually, when she was about to get ready to push, got up and said, "Okay, I'm done." And I'm like, "You're done? We're not.
The baby's not out yet.
Right. We're not done." But just mentally. So, and that's always my cue that you're about to, like, we're about to go.
Yeah.
When you start doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so my job was literally saying, no, let's try this. Trust me.
Yeah.
I think this isn't the look you want to carry. Let's woosah, let's breathe, let's regroup, and then let's see what happens.
Okay.
And then maybe 20, 30 minutes later, she had a baby.
She has a baby.
So sometimes you really do need to be guided. And I will say that the pandemic, and unfortunately, because a lot of people perish, but that was when my phone started ringing off the hook because people were really like, I need someone because I don't even know.
Right.
Like, especially in the very beginning. To be honest, it's so interesting how things build on each other because, like, virtual, a lot of doulas had to shift how they even practice because they couldn't get in the hospital.
Right.
So how do I support?
Right.
So it's funny because my job at with children's in the Marcus Autism Center, I actually had to coach and record myself. So I knew how to coach in the moment.
Wow.
Earless, earbuds, pods,
Yes.
whatever, those things came in a clutch because Dad could have one in his ear, Mom could have one. I could still talk and hear everything and still get them through it.
Nice.
But you had to shift. I had to labor longer with families at home because a lot of them are like, I just want to push my baby out. That's it. I don't want to be, like, I just want to I get in there, I'm ready.
Take it out.
Right. So
Right.
that I don't want them to talk to me about epidural. I have to already take a COVID test. Like, I don't want to be doing this long.
Right.
So that even changed how I started to do practice and work with families at home.
And now I'm jumping, but how many births have you helped or been a part of as a
As
doula?
of Thursday, 64.
64. I lied. I told the people 65. I was off by one.
That's okay.
As of this Thursday?
Well, to be honest, my co-doula is at a birth right now, so I may end up
thought it
going
was
at
65
the
in my spirit. I thought it was
you did,
65. I was
because
close.
may actually later on tonight. We'll see.
Wow. I'm glad we're talking now, because when they come in, you're going to be really busy, because you are stepping into the season of people getting down and getting together from the fall, from the last summer, right? And
Yep,
so it's starting to come.
Yep,
You're going to be
that's
busy. So we give thanks for this time,
right.
because you're going to be really super busy. The pandemic just impacted us in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
Right? I know. For me, I couldn't even possibly imagine, right? But you do what you can. You do what you have to do. The fact that you're pregnant, right? Life goes on. These hospitals are checking for COVID. The first year of COVID was really bad, because
Yes, it
people
was.
were really dying from this,
Yes.
and we didn't even know.
Yes,
and there's
right,
IVs
right.
and people on
Absolutely.
drips
It was bad.
on one floor, or probably one area of the hospital, if not
Yes.
maybe multiple floors, whereas the maternity ward is where we're birthing life. And so you probably had a lot on your plate, and just keeping a mom comforted in the fact to not just try to block out those
Right.
things around her and focus
Absolutely.
on the birth, the rites of passage.
Yes.
I love that it's a
You're
rites of
creating
passage.
a birthday.
My
like people don't
goodness.
think about. You're creating a birthday.
Ooh, yeah.
We, especially again with I serve all women, but Black women definitely are most of my clientele,
Right.
and this is on the end of Black Maternal Health Week, and joy in birth. Like, you're having a baby. We know the statistics. We know we're not listened to. We know we have to be more vigilant. However, you had a baby. We still have to find the joy.
Yes.
We have to find the joy. We have to be. So
Celebrate.
I say, you're creating like when they tell me contractions are starting, I say, yeah, you're about to create a birthday, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep
That's a
that
great way of looking at it.
that
yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Like, eventually, if they'll let me, I'll start bringing party hats and little blowers, but we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet.
And you're right.
But
because
it is. You're creating a birthday.
Yeah, because when I celebrate my birthday, I call my mom and I say thank you.
Yes.
Because in the grand scheme of things, we cannot take life lightly.
No.
Or take it for granted.
No.
For a woman
Yes.
to say or to commit to having that baby
Yes.
is a huge deal. A lot of people, for whatever their reasons may be, this is no judgment zone, they may not be able to do it.
That's very true.
They
And
may not be able to do it. So for maybe health, maybe an emotional, whatever their reasons are, we're not here to judge that, but we just want to celebrate those
absolutely.
that are like 10 toes down. Maybe
Yes.
they're 8 toes down, and you come along and you help them get the other 2 down. But it ain't nothing to play with, because
No, it's not.
it's almost like you don't even have control what's coming out of you and when it's coming out.
No.
Right?
It's the first time you have to work with your baby, and it's a baby.
It's a baby.
So they going,
Formerly known as an embryo.
right. Like that. What do they know? But
Right.
it's the first time you are truly communicating, and you have to work together. You have to be patient. You have to, it takes a while sometimes. It does, because that's a baby. Like, this is their first big job. This is their first big task.
I know. And we want them to breathe when they come out.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the benefits of having a doula in the room. What are some of the benefits?
Well, again, in these days and times, just someone who understands what's happening in the room. There's lots of beeping, lots of conversation. Sometimes things are suggested, because
Right.
again, when we're talking specifically about hospital birth. When you're at a hospital, truly and honestly, you go to the hospital to manage care, manage emergencies, however that's perceived.
Okay.
So, once the water breaks, you're kind of on a clock, and they're like, "Well, baby's not coming out. We got to do A, B, C, and D." Maybe, but let's ask some questions.
Right.
Let's
Right.
get some shared decision making going.
Right.
What are the concerns? Because if nothing else, we can kind of hear what they are, and we can say, like, okay, that does make sense, or ask them, is it life and death? Ask them, is it risking baby or you?
That's good.
Because sometimes that can give you some time.
That's good. That's good that you're there, or doula is there to ask those questions. Because again, the mom's just focusing on getting through this birth.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing too.
And trying to get through this birth.
Right. And partners, like helping partners understand, like one of the things I say too is, you know, birthing person, mommy, how do you want them to support you? Are there certain words? If contractions are triggering and you rather hear waves or surges or pressure, everybody in the room needs to know that, so that everyone in the room is using the same language, so that you are being supported. If you want him to say certain affirmations about you, it's your day, honey.
Right.
What do you want to hear? What feels good to you? Do you, with massaging on the shoulders, rubbing on the legs, like what? And so I'm also the remind partner. And there's certain times too, be honest, what gets baby in gets baby out. Hey. So y'all might need to do something over there real quick. I'll go get something to eat.
She said.
I said it.
What gets baby in gets baby out.
It does.
I'm going to go get me a little snack
and
come back.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, yes.
So you've been a doula. I'm going to come back to benefits and risks in a second, but you've been a doula at home as well as in the hospital?
Yes, home birth center. We have one birth center here in Atlanta.
Really? Just one?
Just one. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. We'll talk about that. But what's nice about the birth center is it's a happy medium.
Gotcha.
So the rooms look like a bedroom.
Nice.
And there are some medical things in there, and it's run by midwives. Midwifery, truly and honestly, if you are low risk and there's no visible complications or risks, if you can get a midwife or have that opportunity to work with a midwife for your care, I would advise it. I really would. I have the pleasure of being a doula for some births at the birth center, but I also teach childbirth education at the birth center.
Nice.
And I love that because, and I really feel like even if first of all, you may think you can't afford a doula. Let me be honest with you. You could probably find a doula. If you need a doula, call. I'll find you somebody.
Okay.
Because there's people at different educational levels. I know I do work with mentees. So for the mentee, it may be a little bit lower cost, but I'm supervising, I'm advising, I'm watching over as she's learning. Right. But everybody should be able to. There's programs. Dove even does a program. I haven't had anyone apply that I know of, but they have actually some funding for doulas. So if you look for it, you can find something. Something.
So you've hit all different levels. So that's the benefits. Now, Naima, tell me some of the risks about having a doula there. Well, or having this type of natural birth.
Now, I will say when it comes to doulas, because of birth justice and because of people being so passionate, sometimes doulas do medical things. Like we really are supposed to do emotional support and education. Okay. When they start, trying to talk about or speak up for you in the hospital, that's really not our job. We're supposed to empower you so that you have a voice, because it's your experience. Right. So I do tell people, when you're looking for a doula, really make sure you ask those kinds of questions, because they should not, be fighting for you. They should be helping you understand what the fight is, so that you can come ready, Freddy, and ready to go. And they're there to support you with that.
I'm gonna say this because I'll share this medical disclaimer. Like, we're not doctors. No. Right, so we're not giving anybody advice, but we want to encourage people to research and find the information out there.
That is the other part.
We're just talking about it, options that are out there, right? So I'm going to use me as an example, because I was an older woman when I had my son, right? So I didn't have any implications. I didn't have any problems. But my blood pressure would go up. Would that put me more in a higher risk, Naomi?
Yes. Because you are at higher risk for preeclampsia. And I shouldn't say the only way to not have preeclampsia, but baby has to come out. Yeah. It means your blood pressure is spiking, you're at risk for stroke and all these other things. So baby has to come out. And that, I'm noticing that my clients near the end of their pregnancies are beginning to develop preeclampsia as well.
Really?
Yes. So that actually is something that I'm going to actually sit down and take a little time in July and re-look at research, because I also pay attention to the research to see, as far as nutritionally or health-wise, is there something that I need to be paying attention to, because I'm noticing a surge with my clients.
Really? Are you finding that more women are going this route to have a doula with them?
I am. I'm beginning to. I think, for myself, I try to provide as much education as possible. I think childbirth education is, again, we know that beginning and end, but that middle can get you stuck. And sometimes, like, I have been in the hospital where I've gone into, with permission, but this only happened twice, but I've gone into the room with other patients and helped them breathe because they were screaming or things were happening that they had no idea about, and they were triggering my client. So I was like, excuse me, could I just, let me give you this to help you get through this. But a lot of it is the fear of the unknown. I know a lot of people will say, when it happens, I just want it to happen. Well, I get it, but however, so much is happening. At least if you understand, what is this? Oh, in my childbirth education, okay, mucus plug. That's probably my mucus plug. Like, you have to have some understanding of what's happening.
It's a lot. And God bless women and their beautiful bodies. Because their bodies can carry life and expand and go through all of that, and they champion through it and birth these beautiful babies. And it's never easy, but there's so much that could possibly go on. I mean, your body is changing from the time you conceive to full term of carrying the baby. There's just so much stuff, because you are feeding this child in your stomach, in your belly, and you just don't know. You're laying on this table, Naima. You have no idea what's happening, especially when you're in the hospital. They're in the corner. The nurses are getting stuff ready, getting the bassinet ready. They're so worried about marking the time or when it was done, and they're cutting the cord. Girl, it's a lot.
And babies' positions can change, and so things, as you're laboring, things can happen. So then if there's a slight change in something, just being able to talk to someone like, okay, is this something that I need to really be worried about? Or, if I just change my position or do something else, would that change the outcome? So just having someone, because it's so, especially for the first time, once you've kind of birthed before, I mean, every birth definitely is different, but you at least have an idea. But that first time, it's like, what's happening over here? So
it's a lot going on. So we talked about how many births you had pre-pandemic. What was your number? How many did
Between
you have?
2015 and 2020, I was at 18. I was at 18 births.
I'm gonna look right in the camera. That was 18.
I was at 18 from 2015 to 2020.
In
I am now.
Years, she had 18.
Yes, I had 18 births. Now, some of that was true. To be honest, I was like full-time job. Like, babies would come on the weekends and things like that.
I want that to sit and resonate. From 2015 to 2020, she had 18. What's the count now?
As of Thursday, 64, and there'll be 65 is percolating. But yes. So, and the other thing that happened in 2020, though, was I got a Coles doula. Her name is Akeisha Blanks. Okay. She was a newer doula, and she had more available time. So I was working for, Show Up. And so she would be available to, if something started and I have to come later, her being available also helped as well. But I'm telling you, babies come when I'm like literally on the weekend. Like, they just come when I'm available. I remember I took a random Wednesday off one day, and my mom called, and she wasn't like, she was within the window, but early in the window. She's like, something's going on. I was like, how does baby know I'm off?
They just want to be with you.
Honestly, like,
they want to be with you.
They do. They kind of come when I'm available.
It's an energy thing. We can't even play with it. There's an energy thing, and babies just know. God knows, universe knows. It just aligns up for you to be there. Because aren't you talking to these women?
Yes.
Throughout their pregnancy?
Yes.
So the baby hears your voice.
This little cackle, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, there's a sense of connection here. Yes. So it's probably, it just...
Because even this weekend was my weekend off from teaching at the birth center. Mm-hmm. So it's just, they come when they know I'm available.
Is having the babies traditionally a bad thing? Or not really? It's just really whatever you want, right? And what you're comfortable with?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Like I said, some people, I've had some amazing births at home.
Right.
In the birth center. And I've had some amazing births at the hospital.
Okay.
It can happen.
It can happen.
It can happen. Mm-hmm. I have, with my clients, I have them write their birth plan out. And I have them give that to their provider well before they're due.
Right.
Just so that they can have a conversation. But I'm putting on here, can I do this? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this? I have them look up the statistics of their hospitals or their medical providers or their medical teams that they are using. Sometimes after we have some conversation, a switch happens.
Right.
Sometimes you just don't know what else is out there.
Mm-hmm. Until you talk about it.
So I'll see this birth plan and I'm like, where are we going to do this at? And they're like, what you mean? I mean, I love it. But where you picked, did you look at where you picked?
Yeah.
Did you look at what they do where you picked?
Yeah.
I'm just, but that's also helpful.
Right.
Because I don't mind, advocating or helping support you or going in, but if we don't have to wear the armor, let's not wear the armor.
Let's not do it. So let me ask you this. When we do home births, is it really in the tub or submerged in water?
It can be, but it can be on the bed too. It really, or on the floor, or hands and knees, or upside down.
So it's really whatever mom wants. Okay.
I've seen midwives and me getting some positions to support.
Right.
It really, it's however, when people are giving birth, you definitely are going between here and somewhere else.
Right.
And so whatever your body tells you to do, when there's, not always, but when there's no medication involved, like she can really feel
everything
what's happening. Because I definitely have had some points where I'm thinking, it's going to be a while, and then all of a sudden the mom's like, baby's coming now. I'm like, what? By now? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, and she's telling us, we're chilling, we're like, let's get position.
Yeah, let's get ready.
And she knows, she knows. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had a couple of fathers say, is she just talking? I was like, nope. I think she knows. Mm-hmm. And they'll look and they'll be like, oh, yeah. It's your connection. Again, it's the first thing you and baby are doing together.
Right.
And that energy and that synergy, and it's our most animalistic selves.
Okay.
Like I let the moms know, like in our childbirth education, like you may want to moan, you may want to make a noise, like, oh.
Yeah.
Because the vocal cords muscles and the vagina muscles are very similar, and it's like you align up.
I didn't know that.
And you line up, and so that noise resonates through your whole body. It's like you're syncing up.
Wow.
And it can be very helpful. That high screaming doesn't help, but the can really help as you're going through your contractions.
I just had a thought, and it wasn't a PG thought, but I just thought I did, because when you are in relations, you tend to moan or breathe a different way.
Yes, you do.
Because of the
you
activity.
Can't walk around breathing like that all the time.
You know what I'm saying? But because of the activity that's going on with your vagina, so now it makes sense that when you're birthing or having contractions, it's tied to the vocal cords. Yes. That's the point. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Learning on a Sunday, learning every single day. I want to understand a little bit too about the post-birth and the role of the doula and what you do, because oftentimes whatever I've seen from a doula, it's always been on television, right? So I don't know what really happens, but I always say questions like, who marks the time of the birth, what happens, like
that's clinical and medical.
Okay.
What we do though is that when we do the postpartum visit, Well, what I do, because doulas do their own different things.
Right.
But what I do is I come home with you. I check to see how you're looking, how you're feeling, how you're doing. Mm-hmm. I also, a lot of times, have them recant the birth story because birth stories stick with women.
Yeah, they do.
So you may think your body failed or blah, blah, blah. So what my job is to provide you the correct information.
Okay.
Or remind you of, yes, you wanted A, but this is why B had to happen. Because I just want to make sure I'm giving you the facts and supporting you so that we can get past it. Because the birth is one event. This baby's going to be with you forever. Ever. Right. So, that being said, I don't want this one event to follow you through.
Right.
Forever. I've talked to women just in passing, and they tell me about their births because they know I'm a doula. I know I was talking to one woman, she's older than me, probably about 10 years, and she had grown children, and she was a teen mom. And so she explained to me one cesarean, but that second one, there was a definite reason why that had to happen. Mm-hmm. So the first one I said, the first one, I don't know, but this one, A, B, C, and D, so that made sense. She literally stopped what she was doing and just started crying because no one had explained it to her. And she was carrying this.
Wow, carrying this.
And I'm very matter of fact. I'm like, that had to happen because this. Mm-hmm. So, but no one had explained that to her. Mm-hmm. And so she's sobbing and crying and hugging me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But no one explained.
Education is so important, and oftentimes as Black and brown women, we're not educated enough. We're doing better.
Right, we are doing better.
I think as we're a little bit older as women, if we choose to have a child, we know the questions to kind of ask.
Yes.
We may have a village or a circle of women friends that have had some experiences, so we know what to ask.
But even that, you have to be careful because what I talk to a lot at the birth center, because even the birth center, even though there's midwives and there's some medical equipment, sometimes they still get pushed back by the elders in their family, or they'll say, I know you say you want to do contraction without any medication, but baby, I don't know if you can do it, but or it may not be what you want, and I have to remind them because they're going off of the experience that they had.
Right.
The natural contraction and Pitocin, which is supposed to mimic oxytocin, which is the love hormone, which helps get baby out. Pitocin is used in the hospital. When that is put in the system, it does surge things up, and the contractions tend to come hard and fast, and it doesn't mimic natural contractions.
Okay.
So, I say they're warning you because that was their experience. But you are birthing differently.
Yeah.
So that information, they're trying to prepare you because they love you, but it may not be relevant because of the way you're choosing to do it, but they don't have that information. They really are trying to prepare you.
Yeah. Are you finding that, what is the age demographics for the moms that have doulas? Do you have a sense? Out of your 65, are they like in their 30s or 40s? Are you getting them younger? What's your vibration on this?
Usually somewhere mid 30s, definitely if you're old, like early 40s.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, like 32 and up-ish,
Okay, that's good. That's good. Oh, it's good. Okay.
But I actually was able to participate in a Medicaid doula pilot with Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies, because they are trying to get some insurance companies to also help pay for the cost of a doula. And so I was able to get some younger clients in that group.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
awesome. That's
awesome.
something Georgia is definitely trying to make strides. Georgia is trying to, because our health disparities, I'll be honest, I'm not sure if we're 48 or 49, don't quote me, but we're right in there with, I believe, Louisiana, and I think Mississippi's in front of us now, but I haven't looked lately. But our maternal health outcomes are not great. We're at the bottom of the food chain, bottom of the barrel.
Are you serious?
But the other issue in Georgia, because we're in Metro, we forget that Metro does not represent the entire state.
I know, that's right.
We don't represent the entire state.
Yeah.
So there are about, out of the 159 counties, I believe the number, and again, don't quote me, but I believe there are like 82 to 83 counties that don't have within their county immediate maternal health anywhere that anyone can go to. So there's about 82 to 83 counties where it is a medical desert, I guess is what you would call it.
Oh my God.
So that's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Right. So that's what makes it challenging in Georgia.
Right.
But there are definitely agencies that are trying to figure that out. But even in Metro Atlanta, when Atlanta Medical Center closed down, and I don't know all the, I should, but I don't know all the reasons why.
Right.
We lost a trauma center, and we also lost a place for people to birth, because that was the other hospital outside of North Fulton and Atlanta Birth Center that allowed women to give birth in the water.
Really?
AMC allowed women to give birth in the water. Now, again, it depended on when you were birthing, and then it was available, but it was an option.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with that closing, it left a gap.
And it was Georgia Baptist. When did Georgia Baptist first, and then Atlanta Medical? Then it was Atlanta Medical Center. They changed the name, and then they closed it down.
I believe so. So there's a lot with that as well. I should be more well versed, but there's been a lot going on.
I understand.
But that closing also put a gap in Metro.
And so I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it alone. And so we are a state that has banned abortion. So you're forcing people to have a child, whether they want to, whether they want to or not. You've banned that, and then there's medical deserts.
Yes.
So you mean to tell me that you're forcing women to have children? It's against the law to abort them, but there's not enough medical facilities to help accommodate women in this space.
And that is one of the things I'm trying to challenge myself to do, though, is because I don't know my Senate representative, my city councilman like I should. And I need to have an understanding of what your thoughts are, because that's right. If you're saying this, at least on the other end, child
you have to
care
provide.
and things like that
provide.
it shouldn't be postpartum care.
No.
It should not be an issue.
If you're making people do something, then you should also be saying that we're going to have the services and products and services in place to support families.
Correct.
Because it shouldn't be a woman.
Right.
It should be families.
Yes, if that's what you want to do.
Because if you're saying that she can no longer have this choice, okay, she is creating a family. So we need to have those things in place. So yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
And I think that your experience and what you bring to the table will be monumental in helping people understand the importance of what's needed when these children come into place, or when a woman is having this baby, what she needs so that the baby is healthy. We want our women and children to not be in the system.
Yes.
Keep it a buck. Like, we don't want them to have asthma or this or that or diabetes or anything. So anything that can help prevent them from having a lifestyle that would require them to be on some form of medication is all the better. And I think that most of us are in a space of wellness now. It's never too late, right? But when we were having children, when we were earlier, we weren't thinking we was eating McDonald's.
Right.
We was like, let me get that 2-piece over here. We was trying, but now it's almost like a life and death situation. Once you pass a certain milestone in your life, you're like, wait a minute. My skin is blotched up. I don't feel well. I'm not going to the bathroom the way I want to. My stool doesn't look right. Like, you are conscious of what you put in your body and what comes out. And so if we can set up spaces and places and programs so that whenever a woman is having a child, not only is she getting the right things, the nutrients, but the stress levels are down.
That's the other part. That is the other part.
Don't get me going now.
I know. No, it's true. Because of the pandemic, but now it's just how I do business.
Yes.
I keep up with my moms for an entire year. Now it may not be a face-to-face.
Right, but you check in.
I text, email, call.
Good for you.
Just to see, do we need additional resources?
Yes.
Sometimes we haven't even talked about breastfeeding. Sometimes breastfeeding piece as well, making sure that's going well. When do you have to go back to work? When do we have to start working on your stash? There's a lot.
There's a lot that goes on with Black and brown women. It's different for other cultures, Perhaps they may not have that stress, but it seems like as soon as the baby comes out, you expect to go back to work. That's what it feels like.
Well, I will say it seems like now some of these newer companies are being more mindful. But again, United States is the only one. Every other industrial country, they have systems where the woman doesn't have to be at work for 12 months, 18 months. People can come check on you.
I know.
France, I think someone comes to your house. I mean,
here. And daddies get time
off. And daddies get time off.
Because daddies don't, God bless the dads too that's involved. And that are there and they're 10 toes down and they love the baby and they love their woman that's having the baby. And they don't want to go back to work either.
No.
They don't want to go right away. They get maybe 2 weeks.
And I sometimes, I do postpartum planning. That's one of my prenatals because I want you to write it out just so you can see it. Are there gaps? Who's coming? And there's such things. So even with doulas, there's different types. So there's people who are just postpartum doulas where they'll just show up in postpartum where they can establish your feeding, help with meals, maybe like cleaning.
That's helpful.
But I will talk to them because again, also parents are in different situations. So, are you the type of person where if you were to come downstairs and you saw clutter, you would flip out? Can you afford housekeeping? You could put that on your baby registry list. Like, let's get more creative with what we're asking people to do.
Yeah, versus a humidifier. Not saying that you don't need it, or Pampers, or a bib, or a cute little outfit for the christening. I mean, that's cute. But you're right. I would have never thought because you do. Listen, there are certain things. You're a different woman. Bless you. Bless you. You are a different woman before you're pregnant. Yes. When you find out you're pregnant. Yeah. When you're carrying. Yes. And then when the baby comes out. You have multiple different phases and stages of who you are. And you're absolutely right. Whereas before, you didn't mind because you could get to it. But now that you have a baby and you have already conditioned yourself that whatever the baby needs, you're going to be responsive, that the laundry may not get done and the baby needs more onesies and then the husband or your man or your children or your family, they need something to eat or they need it's a whole different thing.
And if you're the primary meal maker, how are we going to support
HelloFresh?
Right. No, really.
HelloFresh.
And that's like I've had some of my clients do that. They go on, there's www.mealtrain. I said, if you have that overzealous friend who can organize things, send them all your emails and have them send it to people. Like, you want to think about that.
That's good ideas. That's good ideas. What do you want to see for women in our community as it relates to having a doula around? What's missing and what would you like to see for us?
Truly and honestly, like I said, just joy. Like, somehow we can minimize, because there's always going to be stress. But really, I'm, as a doula, I am actually in a birth art class to be able to use art as another tool for my clients. So that they can express themselves. Because I'm trying to find the joy. I'm trying to and I'm also trying to get some of these things out, because the other thing is these stresses also come out in birth. So for you to have a seamless-ish, say ish, but kind of smooth, like some things that you may not have thought were bothering you, they may pop up and we can address them before.
Right.
So I'm trying to find different means and ways of presenting things to my clients so that they can flesh out some of their stuff in a different way, so that we can get some of this stuff on the surface.
Right. How can one become a doula?
Sure. So there's many ways. There's many organizations. What I would suggest, to be honest, there's an organization, I reference it, Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies. They actually are giving scholarships to doulas.
Oh, wow, that's
right
awesome.
Now. Actually, scholarships for doulas, childbirth educators, and people who want to take on lactation.
Nice.
I would honestly start there.
Okay.
Because first of all, they just have a lot of resources. They're giving away scholarships, and if you have questions, they will answer that, because one of their huge points that they're working on is Black maternal health, or maternal health in general. And so they are kind of like a resource place right now to get information and things like that. But I would start there. But there's a lot of certifying organizations. I mean, you can go with some of the big ones. There's the National Black Doulas Association. Doula is another big one. But it's still one of the few professions where you don't have to be certified.
Right.
It helps.
It helps.
I would suggest it.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. But do your research, because there's different types of doulas. Like, I'm a more holistic doula. So, you know, how do you want to show up? Who do you want to serve first?
Okay.
That's important. And then how do you want to show up? And that might direct you to the right organizing doula organization to certify with, is how you want to show up.
And when you say holistic, what does that mean? Is it that you care about what we eat, what we do, how we sleep? What does that mean as a holistic?
I'm looking at the whole person.
Okay.
You know, as we have conversations, I'm looking to see where the gaps are to support. And then the things that I do, like I'm a calm birth teacher, so I teach pregnancy meditation. I told you I'm going through a birth art certification right now, and I'm actually also in a birth Reiki class right now. So I'm looking at different, energy. So I'm looking at different, looking at different ways to support in more natural ways.
Yes.
And things that I can teach partner, because if there's a partner, I'm in the background, but I'll need y'all to be there. Yeah, I'll tap you in and tap you out when you need to rest, but it's about y'all. It's not about me. It's about what you two are doing. Whether that's an actual boyfriend, husband, or your mom, whoever is supporting you. It's about your story. I'm a gracious observer. And when things kind of go to the left or right, I'm going to push you back over there, and then I'm going to jump out. It's not about me.
Face the camera. Let the people see your shirt. Move your mic to the side. Yeah.
There we go.
What does it say? There's no place like a home birth.
Yes.
That's what the shirt says. There's no place like a home birth.
Yes.
Isn't that cute?
Yes.
That is so cute. Learning stuff today about the life as a doula. What's next for you? I know you're being more creative in the space of being a doula. Do you have anything else that's going on with you in your world? Certifications? What's
Sure. Yeah. Well, I am actually in a doula writing group. Because I do want to, because we hear so many of the negative statistics.
Right.
I mean, we need to be aware. We need to know what's happening.
Right.
But again, my theme is to find the joy. So I'm literally working with someone so that I can start writing down some of the joy stories. And very early in the process, writing, I said, I want to write. It sounds so cool. And I started writing. I'm like, oh, Lord. But I am diligently working through that, because I feel like we get so much negative. We really do need to hear some positive. So I'm doing that. Like I said, I love being able to educate at the birth center. And then things like this, just so that people are aware and know what's going on.
I see conference in your life.
Okay.
I see like maybe a weekend workshop, or just not even a week, just a couple of hours where mothers that have had the doula experience come back and share what worked for them, what didn't.
Oh, that's great. And that's
and
important.
Encourage other people. We would have other people in the space that are expecting, on the fence about having a doula, didn't know.
Sure.
I think we have to talk more about it.
We do.
And I think that this is not anything that's far removed from our culture. Like, I believe
it's not. It's almost getting back
to it.
What we were used to doing, and how we congregated as people. The village, the community,
and the village and the community. Because we were Black and brown women, we didn't have access to anything.
No.
Right? And so it took midwives and doulas and family to help us birth babies. Right? With no medicine in the room or anything.
During slavery, and the granny midwives, up until hospitals really took over. That's who Black and white people went to, especially in our rural communities.
Tell the people now. Tell the people.
I mean, that's where it started, and then the hospitals realized, oh, we probably should get in on that.
You should. Well, thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
So, and that's when, again, gynecologists took over. Because, again, hospitals are really to manage emergency situations. That's what they're good at.
Yeah.
But if it's if there's no risk Again, when a risk arises, that's one thing. But if there's no risk, there's no reason why you shouldn't give birth naturally. There's just no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have to get educated on that again, because again, we want things to be done quickly, expeditiously, like an in and out. Sometimes some doctors just hadn't been good. They didn't give us the right diagnosis or recommendation. Some have been excellent.
Right, absolutely. Now, I do want to say that too.
Shouts out to my OBGYN, Simone Whitmore. She's excellent. But then there's some that are not. And so a lot of people have been misdiagnosed.
And I'm glad you said that, because there actually is a app. It's called the Earth app, IRTH app. If you had an amazing experience with a medical provider, we want the reviews. But if you haven't, we want those reviews too.
Yes.
Kimberly's, I'm always saying her name wrong. Kimberly Sells Ayers. She was just here on Friday. She wrote The Big Letdown, which she's a journalist, and that was on lactation specifically.
Wow.
As she was going through her lactation journey, because our breastfeeding numbers are getting better, but they're still not where we want them.
Breastfeeding as Black women overall?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was her first pursuit, but now she's created an app so that we can gather and really know who are the providers who are supporting us and who are the providers who are not.
Yeah.
So if you've had a great experience, please go to that app and put your information in. And if you have had a not so great experience,
tell us.
we truly want that information so that we can start looking through the database and referring our clients and our people to the right people who are supporting our births.
Absolutely. We need to know that. The lactation, and that's interesting too, because I couldn't breastfeed. I tried, but I couldn't breastfeed. And that's an interesting statistic, because I believe us as Black women, we're so nurturing and so giving, and that just would be like another, I'm thinking that would be another automatic element that comes from us.
It's education, and there truly is a way to start it.
Ooh.
There's truly a way to start it, and it's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
Because what's going to put milk in there is getting milk out. So that means putting baby to the breast, or you hand expressing, or pumping, depending on where you are with that, to trigger your body.
Right.
And then there is such thing as, in the beginning, your body doesn't know if you had 2 babies or 1. So when the milk comes in, it seems like a lot, and then it starts to tagger back. So you think you have low milk supply.
Right.
It's not necessarily that, but your body now realizes, oh, it's just 1 baby, not 2. Okay. And then it starts to regulate to you to what you need. But a lot of people interpret that as, oh no, I'm losing, like my milk supply is going low.
Yeah.
And we have to also, again, we're so used to, I don't want to say stuffing our children, but feeding our children. So sometimes what we think they need, we get these images of those 8-ounce bottles.
Right.
It's really like 2 to 3 to 4 ounces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even helping just with that information, we
got some reprogramming.
Yeah.
To do.
So understanding that I myself right now am in a lactation program because I felt like I needed more support.
Of course you are.
But more information to give. More information
You're
to give.
Beautiful. You know that? And sometimes I was just asking the questions because I was like, Naeem's got an answer for this. Because she knows. You're just not a passing through, or this is something to do, or you're not sure about it.
It's taken over my life.
This was a call directly from the Most High, and you responded to it.
Thank you.
And He continues to give you everything that you need. You're thirsting. You're helping communities.
I'm doing the best that I can.
You're helping people. You've touched 65 lives.
Oh my goodness.
64 and 65
other way.
And through them, they're going to refer you or just say what their experience was. And so it'll have that ripple effect.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I am
absolutely
doing the best that I can, but I have a lot of support. I have a lot of doula sisters.
Yes.
My mentor, Shakana Haley, is still huge.
Yes.
And I even, if you're a doula, if you can get a mentor, truly, honestly. And now I'm in the position where I mentor now as well.
Of course. Yes, you should. All that information
but that's
and experience
helpful. I appreciate that.
Oozing out of you. You can't even hold it.
Yeah, I'd be oozing. But,
If people had questions, where can the people find you, Nate?
On IG, it is my name, Naima, Naima, Danita, Danita. DM me. That's the best place to find me. My presence hasn't been what it needs to be, but it's about to be there.
Yeah,
but that
the babies.
I know I'm trying.
In between the dueling.
To be honest, they have been coming quick. So you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I think I'm gonna post something, I gotta go.
I'm so honored that you was able to do this today, because the babies is coming. We talked about this when we met.
I know
that the wave is coming.
Yes.
They're not going to wait till May. They could be starting to come at the end of April.
And they did. These 2 babies were due at the end of April. You see where we're at.
You see where we're at? The next time I see you, you're going to be, not that it's a numbers game, but you're going to be increasing.
We shall see. God willing. But thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and me being able to share, because I feel like the more information that's out, the more education that's out, the better prepared people are going to be. Absolutely. And you can plan for babies, y'all. I'm just going to say you can plan for babies, because sometimes people say I can't afford a doula. Well, if you plan for it, I bet you you can.
Yeah.
I bet you can.
Do the research. Understand what your options are and your choices are.
Absolutely.
And you go from there. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you
for being my guest today.
Amazing show. Thank you
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, this is my time. Before we slide out of here, listen. Real Chicks Rock, we got an event. It's really not my event. I'm hosting the Collective Brunch down in Miami next Saturday, April 22nd. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite. Go cop those tickets. The brunch starts at 11 a.m. Doors open at 11. We go until 3. We'll have 3 fabulous female DJs there providing the sounds. The chef is a local chef from Miami. Great food, great feedback on what she's done so far. Super excited to be in the space. So if you're in the Miami area, please join us. If you're in Atlanta and you want to get away, jump in the car, get on a plane, come on down there and join us down there. We're also partnering with someone local that is doing things for the kids. That have military people, their parents are in the military, so there's a program down there that's honoring the children. So we're going to connect with those people. I'll have more details about that this week and let you know more about it. But that's my time. You know me. I am Real Chicks Rock. I'm everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Check out the website, realchicksrock.com. Subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel. Hit that little bell. Like, subscribe, share, put comments so we can start trending even higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And as I always like to say as we end out the show, may you live to be 100 and I live to be 100 minus a day. So I never know that beautiful people like you had passed away.